All right, today we are digging into a company that didn't just play the game in their market. They built a whole new machine to completely dominate it. This is the story of Collator. Let's get into it.
So you gotta ask, how does that even happen? You'd think winning in the travel business is all about finding the coolest hotels or planning the most fun trips. But what if the real secret sauce was something way bigger, way more systematic?
Exactly. See, the story of Collator isn't really about tourism at all. It's a masterclass in strategy, in data, and in building a system so powerful, so smart, it basically runs itself.
And just to give you a sense of scale, look at this number. Before the pandemic hit, Collator was pulling in over 40 billion new Taiwan dollars every year. That's over 1.2 billion US dollars. We're talking about an absolute behemoth in the industry.
But here's the thing. That massive revenue isn't just about selling a ton of trips. It's built on this foundation of almost obsessive quality. Get this, over 80% of their travelers give them a satisfaction score of 90 or higher. The real mystery is, how on earth do you get that kind of consistency when you're that big?
Well, it all starts with their first kind of ruthless and absolutely brilliant strategic move. They just completely changed the definition of a competitor.
So instead of going to war with every little travel agency in the country, Collator did something totally radical. They went to over 2,000 of them and said, hey, you guys go find the customers and we'll handle absolutely everything else. They basically turned their biggest rivals into their own personal sales force.
But here's the catch, and it is a big one. When all these smaller agencies do is sell, they start to lose their connections. They're not talking to the tour guides, the hotels, the bus companies anymore. After a while, they kind of forget how to actually run a tour themselves. And just like that, they are completely hooked into Colla's system, with really no way out.
Okay, so you've got this massive network of partners and suppliers all over the globe. How do you possibly manage all of that and still keep that 80% satisfaction score? Well, you stop managing people and you start managing numbers.
Colla built this incredible dual feedback engine. First, every single traveler, and I mean everyone, fills out a super detailed feedback form scoring every little part of their trip. At the exact same time, the tour leader is also scoring every single supplier. The bus driver, the restaurant, the hotel. It creates this constant, never-ending flood of performance data. And believe me, this system has teeth. If a customer satisfaction score dips below 60, it's not just a note in a file. An automated alert instantly goes out to the sales team, the product department, and the supplier overseas. And if they don't fix it fast, the company issues something called a correctional action form, which is just a corporate way of saying, this is your final warning.
Now, for years, this was all done by people. But now, they've added this incredibly powerful new layer that just automates and supercharges the entire system of control, AI. And their whole approach to AI was just so smart. They didn't try to build some giant all-knowing supercomputer from the get-go. Nope, they started with one simple, boring, but really high-value task, reading all those customer feedback forms. A job that used to take an army of interns now just happens, instantly.
And this anecdote just says it all. A human intern might see a complaint about, say, a tour guide picking their nose and just laugh it off. Whatever, it's a one-time thing. But the AI? It has zero sense of humor. It has no bias. It just logs nose-picking guide as a negative data point, and that goes into the guide's permanent score. It is absolute, cold, hard objectivity. And they are just getting warmed up. This is their massive 10-year plan. They're building all these little specialized AIs, like a visa bot, that knows every country's travel rules inside and out. But the final goal? To create a central Colla brain, a master AI that manages all the little AIs and can, one day, plan entire trips all by itself.
Okay, so we've seen the pieces, right? The partner network, the scoring system, the AI. Now, let's put it all together, because this is where you see the true, almost scary strategic power they've built.
Every year, Collator holds a big supplier conference. But they don't just serve drinks and give speeches. No, they put a giant leaderboard up on the screen and they rank all their global partners, bus companies, hotels, everyone, publicly by their data scores. So imagine you're a bus company in Japan and you see your biggest competitor ranked 5 spots above you. The pressure to get better is just immense.
And because every single one of those suppliers is desperate to climb that leaderboard and get more business, they start managing themselves. They invest in their own training, their own maintenance, their own quality checks. Essentially, Collator has tricked its suppliers into paying for their own quality control. And this is the final checkmate move. After collecting millions and millions of data points for years on what customers like, which suppliers are good, which routes are best, they've built a mountain of knowledge that is basically impossible for anyone else to climb.
In the business world, we call this a data moat. Every new trip, every new piece of customer feedback makes their systems smarter and their predictions more accurate. It makes that moat around their castle wider and deeper. A new competitor could show up with amazing service, but it doesn't matter because they just don't have the data. And this brings us to the most important point. It's a fundamental shift in power. If you're a partner agency in Taiwan or a hotel manager in Thailand, you're not really dealing with a person at Colator anymore. You're dealing with the system. Your score, which the algorithm decides, determines your future. It's governance by algorithm, exactly like how Uber's system tells its drivers where to go.
So what can we all take away from this wild case study? Because honestly, these lessons apply to pretty much any industry, not just travel.
First, data isn't just for making fancy charts. It's for building systems of control. Second, get creative with your competition. Could they actually be part of your sales team? Third, when you're starting with AI, don't try to boil the ocean. Just automate the boring stuff first and get some easy wins. And finally, that old saying is truer than ever. If you can't put a number on it, you can't manage it when you get big.
And that is the biggest takeaway of all. Colator's real product wasn't a trip to Paris. It was the system itself. A self-improving, data-driven machine that manages the whole business with, frankly, terrifying efficiency and very little human oversight.
And that leaves us with one final, pretty heavy question to think about for any of us. As our technology gets smarter and smarter, who, or maybe what, is actually in charge? Is it the people in your company? Or is it the systems and the algorithms that they've created?
喜欢这种学习方式，欢迎订阅我的频道，让我们一起用下一个10分钟，把商业英文变简单。